Welcome to Revenge with Lyra.
After years of being called the family's babysitter, my dad finally snapped across the dinner table. "If you want to live here, you'll have to start paying rent." The room went silent, my sister smirking into her glass, Mom pretending not to notice, as though this was the moment they'd been waiting for. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I smiled, stood, and without a single word, I walked to my room, grabbed my bags, and drove off into the night. A week later, my sister texted, but by then, everything had changed. "My name is Hannah Riley, I'm 29. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned." What happens when the scapegoat they dismiss as help finally leaves and takes more than they ever realized with her? That night, headlights carved the road ahead of me as I drove past the fields outside town. The house behind me shrank into darkness, along with years of unpaid babysitting, unpaid respect, unpaid acknowledgement. They had raised me on duty, not love, and duty had become their excuse to never see me as more. At a red light, I checked my phone. No apology, no concern, just silence. That silence spoke louder than Dad's threat ever could. I wasn't family. I was staff. I found a small apartment the next morning, creaky floors, mismatched cabinets, but mine. For the first time, I unpacked for myself. Every picture I hung, every plate I stacked, whispered one thing: freedom. I didn't know then what storm was coming. I didn't know the same people who dismissed me would come crawling. But I was ready, because when you've been invisible your whole life, walking away makes you unforgettable. The first few nights in my new apartment felt strange. The silence pressed against me at first. No kids crying down the hall, no mom calling my name, no footsteps demanding I fix something. Just the hum of the fridge, the creak of the pipes, and my own breathing. But slowly, that silence became comfort. For the first time, I didn't wake up with someone else's schedule taped to my day. No drop-offs, no late-night babysitting while my sister went out, no guilt trips from Dad about being lazy. I picked up extra shifts at work, saved money, and even started painting again, something I hadn't touched since high school. My little studio became more alive with color than the house I grew up in ever had. Then came the text. It was a Tuesday morning. My phone buzzed with a message from my sister. "Where are you? The kids need you. Mom said you're being selfish. Just come back already." Selfish. The word burned, though not the way it used to. It almost made me laugh. After years of raising her kids, sacrificing my 20s, being her safety net, suddenly I was selfish for choosing myself. I typed back slowly, carefully. "I don't live there anymore. Figure it out." Her reply came instantly, sharp and panicked. "You can't just abandon us. Dad's furious. Mom's crying. You'll regret this." I stared at the words, my chest tight but steady. They thought I'd come running. They thought guilt would drag me back. But I wasn't theirs to command anymore. For the first time, the weight was on them, and I was finally free to breathe. By the end of the week, their silence had turned into chaos. Mom left me voicemails layered with dramatics. "Hannah, the children miss you. You know your sister can't handle everything alone. You're tearing this family apart." Dad's tone was sharper, angrier. "You think you're grown because you moved out? You'll come crawling back once you realize you can't survive without us." And my sister? She kept texting at all hours. The words shifted from demands to begging, then back to insults. "You're cruel. The kids keep asking for you. You're not just their aunt, you're their second mom. How can you do this to them?" Each message twisted a knife they had planted years ago. But this time, instead of bleeding, I felt the wound closing. Because I wasn't abandoning anyone. I was giving back what never should have been mine to carry. One night, I sat on the floor of my apartment. My paintings leaned against the walls, half-finished but vibrant. I looked around at the mess, coffee cups, open sketchbooks, laundry I hadn't folded, and smiled. For the first time, the chaos was mine. It didn't belong to them. The next morning, I sent a single message in reply to all their noise. "You called me the babysitter. That's not family, that's labor. Pay a nanny." I hit send, my hands steady, my heart surprisingly calm. Minutes later, 3 dots appeared, then vanished. No reply. For once, they didn't have an answer. And I realized they never did. All they ever had was me. Days passed, and the flood of messages slowed, but not because they accepted my absence. No, it was because they were scrambling. A cousin texted me quietly. "Your sister asked me to watch the kids. She's desperate." Another wrote, "Your mom told everyone you abandoned the family. People are starting to talk. Let them talk." For years, their gossip had been my prison. Now it was their chain. One night, Dad showed up outside my apartment. His car idled on the curb, headlights cutting across my window. When I opened the door, his face was set in stone. "You're making a fool of us," he said. "Do you know what people are saying? That our daughter walked out and left us to rot." I crossed my arms, leaning against the doorway. "Maybe you should think about why I left." His eyes hardened. "Don't be dramatic. You had a roof, food, family. And now you throw it away over what? A little rent." I let out a bitter laugh. "It was never about rent, Dad. It was about respect. And you never gave me any." For a moment, his mouth opened as if to argue, but nothing came. He turned on his heel, muttering something I didn't catch, and drove off. As his taillights disappeared, I stood in the doorway longer than I needed to, the night air cool against my skin. It hit me then. They weren't worried about me. They were terrified of what life looked like without me holding it together. And that fear? It wasn't mine to fix. The following week, I got another text from my sister. This time, it wasn't laced with insults or threats. It was raw panic. "The babysitter quit. The kids won't stop crying for you. I can't handle this. Please come back, Hannah. I'll pay you. Pay me." I read those 2 words over and over. For years, I had been free labor. My reward had been eye rolls, comparisons, and a title, the babysitter. Now that I was gone, suddenly my time had value. But I didn't reply. Instead, I sat at my tiny kitchen table, sketching another painting. The strokes came easier these days, freer. My life was starting to feel like the canvas, blank at first, messy in the middle, but mine to shape however I chose. That evening, Mom called. Her tone was softer than before, almost pleading. "Hannah, your sister is drowning. You've made your point. Now come home. Family is family. You don't turn your back when things get hard." I closed my eyes, holding the phone to my ear in silence. For years, they had told me that same line whenever they wanted something from me. Family is family. But I finally saw the truth. Family to them had never been love. It had been leverage. I lowered the phone and whispered, "Then maybe we were never family." I hung up before she could answer. For the first time, I didn't feel guilt. I felt weightless. They had built their world on my shoulders. Now, without me, it was collapsing. And I wasn't rushing in to catch the pieces. By midweek, the silence from their side was deafening. No more calls. No more guilt-ridden messages. Only the faint echoes of a family scrambling without its crutch. But silence has a way of speaking louder than words. I got the proof when a mutual friend pulled me aside at work. "Your sister was at the grocery store yesterday, screaming at the cashier because her kids were running wild. Everyone saw it. She kept saying, 'My sister abandoned me. She ruined my life.' Ruined her life." I almost laughed. I had given her mine for years, weekends, nights, birthdays. She had lived free while I bore the weight. And now, with that weight gone, she was crumbling. That evening, I sat by the window of my apartment, the city glowing outside, and let the quiet wrap around me. My phone buzzed with another message, this time from Dad. "You've proven your point, but this family doesn't work without you. Come back, Hannah. Enough games." Games. That was what he thought this was. A performance. A tantrum. He still didn't see it. This wasn't a game. This was my life. And for once, it belonged to me. I typed a reply, steady and short. "I'm not coming back." Then I turned off my phone, set it face down, and picked up my paintbrush. For the first time in years, the strokes didn't shake. Because this wasn't loss. This was liberation. And it was only the beginning. The fallout didn't take long to spread. Aunt Linda, always the family gossip, called me one afternoon. Her voice was hushed, conspiratorial. "Hannah, your parents are at their wits' end. Your sister's kids are out of control. Bills are piling up, and they don't know what to do without you." I let her words hang, waiting for the punchline. There wasn't one. Just silence. "Maybe now," I said softly, "they'll understand what I carried all those years." Aunt Linda sighed. "They won't admit it. Pride won't let them. But Hannah, they're scared." That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, memories flooding back. Nights spent rocking crying babies while my sister partied, mornings cleaning up messes while Dad grumbled about my lack of ambition, afternoons spent tutoring kids who weren't mine while Mom scolded me for not smiling enough. They had called me the babysitter, the helper, the spare. Now, without me, their foundation was collapsing. The next morning, I posted a photo on social media, just me in my new apartment, paint on my hands, sunlight streaming through the blinds. The caption was simple: "When you stop being their safety net, you learn to fly." The comments poured in, friends cheering, strangers resonating, even a few cousins sending quiet messages of support. And somewhere I knew my family saw it too. They wanted me back in chains of obligation. Instead, they were watching me soar. And the higher I rose, the smaller their world looked beneath me. The wedding anniversaries, the birthdays, the family barbecues, they went on without me. But something had shifted. The smiles in their photos looked thinner, the celebrations smaller, the comments beneath their posts sharper. People noticed. People whispered. I noticed too, not because I cared, but because their absence no longer burned me the way it once did. It was a cool distance, like watching a storm roll over someone else's horizon while I sat safe inside. In my apartment, life unfolded gently. My daughter's laughter filled the walls when she visited. My paintings dried in messy stacks, and the quiet I once feared had become my greatest comfort. Bills were mine to pay, yes, but so were the rewards. My independence. My choices. My joy. One evening, Mom's number flashed on my phone. Against my better judgment, I answered. Her voice was cracked, weary. "Hannah, we need you. Your sister can't do this without you. Please, just think about coming home." I let the silence stretch before replying, calm but unshakable. "Mom, I did think about it. For 29 years, I thought about it. And the truth is, I was never home there. I was labor. I was convenience. I was invisible." She sniffled softly. "We didn't mean." But I cut her off. "You did. You all did. And I finally believe you." I ended the call, my hands steady, my chest strangely light. Later, I opened my journal and wrote, "Family is not the people who demand you carry them. Family is the ones who walk beside you when you're carrying yourself." I closed the book and set it beside my newest painting, a sunrise bleeding over rooftops, warm and endless. That night I didn't cry. I didn't ache. I simply breathed, free in a way I never thought possible. They had called me the babysitter, but I had become my own keeper. And the keeper of my peace never gives it away again.